Good morning, Chief.
Good morning.
What do you want to show us today?
Well, this is the hamper cabinet for the laundry area. And I want to show every part and my system for assembling it, because we're going to install it today also. You know, obviously I start with the face frame because the face frame is the size of the cabinet. What I do, I put it together with pocket screws. A lot of guys do that. It's a good way to do it. I apply my bead on the inside, and then while I have the face frame flat, that's when I fit my door and drawer parts, because it's just easier that way instead of trying to fit it on the cabinet that's standing up where you gotta support everything. So, you know, I will use Formica chips as spacing. I like to leave a 1/16 around the whole drawer and door. Okay, so I'll fit everything while it's flat on the bench like this. Because that makes
Turn this door up, you've got it upside down in the opening. Turn that around for us so we can really see the good fit. And this is, your associate is working on getting this, the finished sanding right now, right?
So that's the way I fit my door and drawer front.
Boy, that's good looking.
Okay, so the reason why this cabinet rail is, or style is wider, is because there's a blind corner coming into it. And you want to show the same reveal on both cabinets. In this case, it's 1 3/4, and what that does, that lets us clear our hardware on this door and drawer with the drawer and door on the opposing cabinet.
Okay.
So now what I do, I dado the back of my face frame with a 1/4" scribe, and what that does, it just makes it a lot easier and nicer to assemble a cabinet. I put my sides in it, I glue it, and I pocket screw it. So that's what I'm going to show you right now. Everything I got prepped, I got all my parts cut to size because I pre-assembled everything before.
What kind of glue do you prefer to use, Rich?
I like the Type on 3. Okay, so now, when I got this set in here, I'll take one of these corners and just set it in here to help hold it.
Come around and see what you're doing from this side. I see.
Now this is going to hold it square to my face frame.
And it gives you a couple of free hands to work.
Yeah. Okay. I'll check to make sure I'm flush on the bottom.
Am I looking at the bottom or the top?
You're looking at the top.
I see.
Okay, that's where I want to be with that. So then,
So you want to be flush at the bottom.
yeah, I got my pocket screws ready to go and drilled. I like to start in the middle.
In this case, it looked like you had already pre-finished the face frame before assembly.
Yeah, this way you're avoiding all the overspray that comes with it.
Or the chore of masking it off. And then in some instances, not all, but in some, you prefer to use melamine. Do you want to tell us why?
Yeah, melamine's flat and very easy to work with. A lot of people think they call it cheap. It's not cheap. It's inexpensive, and it's made exactly for what I'm using it for. It's sanitary, it's flat, it mills well.
It's easy to clean for the homeowner.
Easy to clean, sanitary. You open the cabinet, it's nice and bright in there. Okay, so now that I got one side in, I go to the other.
Apply your glue. Set the other side in.
And I'll set up another one of these.
flush out the bottom.
Okay. Get my mallet. That's what I want there.
And then add your pocket screws starting in the middle.
You know, and as the pocket screw is tightening up, it's pulling it in because the dado is a little bit loose. So it's pulling it in, so it'll be tight on the inside when you look at it.
I notice you're not just hammering them in there, you're very soft and gentle, slow speed, setting those screws.
Okay, so now, the next thing I want to do is put my bottom in. No glue. I don't put glue in the dados because as you're sliding the bottom in, it's just going to push it out all over the place. There's no need for any glue. Okay.
Now, you don't have any biscuits or anything?
No, this is a small cabinet, and I have a toe kick under it. So the toe kick is right along here, so that's what's going to support the bottom of the cabinet. It doesn't really need to be tied to the front in this instance because it's a small cabinet. So I have these pre-drilled. As I said, I pre-assembled everything, make sure everything fits.
And it looks like you're using an 1 5/8", number 6, actually a drywall screw.
Well, they call it a construction screw. Again, there's no reason, you know, it doesn't have to be chained and bolted and, you know, it's just a cabinet. It's not going to be any stress on it. It just sits on the floor and is screwed to the wall. Okay, so now, next I'm going to go to my toe kick. So if you come around this side, I have blocks to define how far back the toe kick goes. When I cut my toe kick backer, I always leave it short of the sides so it doesn't interfere with any bumps that might be in the floor.
What a smart idea.
And this just gets screwed in. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the back. Back's just going to slide in the dado. I keep it a 1/2 inch from the back of the cabinet. There's a reason for that. Okay, after I have that slid in, I'll put a clamp over it.
And the back doesn't come all the way to the bottom, not really necessary.
No, it's not. Again, it could interfere with any bump that might be in the floor. Okay. So now, lay out some holes and I'll screw the back to the back of the bottom.
To the floor.
It's a floor cabinet.
Okay, and you're lining those screws up with the middle of the dado for the floor. That makes sense.
Same screws that I screwed the sides in. Okay. So now, while the cabinet's on its face, I have the nailing strip, which will go right at the top here.
We didn't have any Baltic birch ply for that.
No. This I'm just going to tack in. Tack that in with 5/8 staples. Now this back one, this bottom one, you got to keep up. If you notice where the dado is, that's the back of the shelf, and I want to be above the shelf enough where I can screw it in.
This nailing really serves to take up space between the back of the cabinet and the wall.
Yeah, if you put the back of the cabinet flush with the whole cabinet, and there's a bump in the wall, it's going to push your cabinet out. So if there was a bump in a stud in between these two, it's not going to affect it. Okay. So now that that's in, the next thing I want to do is take these off.
Simple tools, you're not using any parallel clamps. They're big and heavy and can be clumsy when you've got a lot to do in a short period of time. You know,
So now,
right?
this, I always put a rail, a front and back rail on the flat at the top of the cabinet, and that gives more area to secure the top, whether it's a wood top that can be screwed through, or it's a stone top where they can put adhesive on it.
Like a stretcher.
Yeah. A bigger cabinet, I would do a complete frame. It's not necessary with this cabinet. Okay. And now, what I'm going to do, let me get a little block. I'm going to pocket screw the rail to the front of the cabinet.
What do you like for pocket screws here?
I'm just using inch and
Inch and a quarter.
inch
I
and a
think.
quarter.
And the fine thread.
Okay. And then I have another piece for the back. back. Check, make sure everything is screwed in.
So the back of the cabinet in this instance is really only held in place with, it's secured in the dado. It's not glued in the dado.
Now this,
It's not really
when it's
screwed in
attached to the
anywhere.
wall, it gets screwed through this, through the back and through this. So the back will be screwed in technically when the cabinet's installed.
Uh-huh. All right.
Okay. So this is the finished cabinet assembled. It's the way I do it, with all the joints, the dados, the screws. And it's a very solid, very high-end cabinet. You know, just because it's millimeter doesn't mean it's not expensive.
I can only imagine.
And then the toe kick, we'll put in afterwards. We'll lay it in there loose, and then when the floor is done, the floor is going to be slid under it, and the toe kick will drop down onto the floor. You don't want to put your finished toe kick on first because you don't know if it's going to touch the floor or not. The floor may have a little deviation.
You'd rather have the toe kick. You've got a piece of fur prepared and finished to tuck in there. You've got to cut that to size.
Yeah, we'll cut this to size. We'll lay it in there loose because you won't be able to get it in after the cabinet's installed. So you got to put it in there loose. When the floor is put in, you let it drop to the floor.
Do you just maybe glue it in, or it doesn't have to be mechanically fastened, does it?
You could glue it or just use, you know, the 23 gauge pin nails, you know, just a few to hold it in.
Just to hold it in place. All right.
And, you know, when you put this 1/4 inch scribe, as I call it, on the side of the cabinet, you have free reign of fasteners here without getting in the way of anything.
Now, in this case, you've got a drawer in the upper section here, and then a hamper in the lower section. I think your apprentice homeowner is going to decide exactly how she wants to build the hamper, but to put the drawer in, you've got to put some standoffs in the side here.
Yeah, we're going to use poplar and put standoffs, which measure, the thickness of them is what this measurement from the face to the side is. In this case, I think it's 7/8.
About that, okay.
So we'll put a poplar strip there and here, and
Go over that again. I think my camera was not looking at what you were pointing out.
okay. So the rails we'll put to accept the draw slides will be made out of poplar.
So we need to put a,
The thickness of them will be whatever that is. It's like an inch, inch and an eighth maybe. I thought it was less than that, but we'll just mill some poplar to fit that dimension. They'll be screwed in again from the outside, so you never see any fasteners inside the cabinet.
so that rail, that standoff enables us to install the drawer slide so that it's essentially just clears the inside of the drawer opening.
The bottom mount drawer slides have to be mounted between the opening.
Got it.
They don't go behind it.
Got it.
And if this is going to be a pull-out, we'll do the same thing. We'll have, you know, 150-pound slides.
Okay, anxious to see what you come up with for the hamper. Boy, the hamper door is just beautiful, and we're getting the finished sand completed on that. Hopefully we'll get a couple pictures up to show our viewers exactly what it looks
I
like.
wrapped it out for the hardware. That's on the top, same thing on the drawer, same.
We had a
same
vote
handle,
from our
so.
viewers about which drawer pull to use on this. Yeah, upside down. Turn that over for us, Chief, with the kerf on the outside. There you go. That's it. That's it. Yeah, really good looking. Okay.
So that's it. That's how I assemble a cabinet, and that's how I do it.
Well, I would say nice, Danny.
It's not, I'm not saying it's better than anybody else's, but it's better than a lot of
Oh, I
ways, you
think
know?
it's better than most.
It gives the cabinet a lot of integrity. It's
Yeah.
not, the strength of the cabinet has nothing to do with the face frame. It's where it's attached to the wall. That's where the strength of the cabinet needs to be.
Yeah, beautifully, beautifully executed, Chief. Well done. Thank you.
Mhm.